Hey everyone, and welcome to God-Given Curls. This channel is meant to... Okay, I'm sorry. This will be the last time.
Okay.
Empower, equip, inspire.
Yep,
I was just nervous.
No
Okay,
problem.
I'm sorry. Hey everyone, welcome back to God-Given Curls. This channel is meant to empower, equip, and inspire people to wear their God-given curls. And today I have my sister on with me just to talk about our natural hair journeys and what that has been like and what that's been like as a Christian especially. So, welcome Natalie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, so just to start off right, can you just tell us about what your natural hair journey has been like? Because you've been on it longer than I have, but I feel like you've started it again in your curly state. So can you just talk about what that's been like for you?
Yes. So my natural hair journey has had many different phases. I really love taking care of my hair and just the process of girly things, doing your hair. So probably around the time I was in 5th or 6th grade, I learned to straighten my hair. And I was still getting relaxers at the time, but I found out how to get my own silk press that I was very proud of. And then in college, I wasn't getting relaxers as much because I was at school and I was at an out-of-state school. So I decided, okay, this is probably a good time for me to transition into my natural hair journey. So I'll stop getting relaxers, but I still straightened my hair a lot. And that continued for many years. And then I think when I turned 25, I didn't do a big chop, but I did a curly cut, a short curls. I wanted to get my curls in the best health that I could. And that's when I really started wearing my hair curly, my early 20s, and then 25 was my big girl curly cut. And then after some time, I started wearing my hair straight again, not for really any particular reason, just that just felt like the vibe and the style for the moment. And then most recently, as in just a couple of months ago, I decided to really go full on curly, got another curly cut again. And this time the decision was kind of twofold. On one end, I just wanted to work out more, and it's easier to work out when your hair is curly than when it's straight. But also for me, there was a little bit of spiritual significance. I think that there is something really beautiful about wearing your hair and the way that it grows out of your head. And for me, when I wear my hair very big like this, I call it my lion's mane. And I knew that God had me in a season of stepping out in more boldness, and I was I want my hair to represent that. So I got a color that kind of matched a lioness feel, and the cut I wanted to give kind of lioness, because for me it was also a declaration I'm going to be bold in this season. I'm not going to hide with my little slick back buns, which I love, but for me this season is about being bold, and I wanted my hair to represent that too.
Yeah, that's so good. And I noticed that you came in differently. When you step into a room, it's your hair is a statement. It's you walk in, it's everybody can sense the boldness or whatever, because it's your hair represents what you are claiming for the season of your life.
Amen.
And so what has that felt like for you?
Honestly, it has felt awkward at times. It's been empowering in some moments, but it's been funny to see how often I still want to hide. And so when I do wear my hair like this, sometimes I have moments where I'm oh God, I hate people looking at my hair like this. Lord, help me. And it's been funny because I have to put that in check. Okay, Natalie, part of your decision to wear your hair like this was a declaration of boldness, that you weren't going to be someone that tried to find the background and hide. You were going to step out in fullness. And so even in those awkward moments, I try to embrace the message that I was telling myself, that this isn't a season of hiding. This is a season of stepping out. And if your hair gets to do that for you first, cool.
Yeah. And I just remember, she started her natural hair journey again, wearing it fully curly, and it was around the same time that I had started mine, and I just felt so supported, because it's I knew that it wasn't something that was necessarily just easy for her, and it's this was also something that was not easy for me. And so there was just even times where I just felt so frustrated, trying to do my hair, and I would come downstairs and Natalie was standing in the mirror trying to do her hair as well, and we would just sit down and talk and do our hair together. And I just remember just feeling so it may have not seemed big to you, but for me I felt so supported in a time that was so hard for me and stuff. And so yeah,
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. And so something I want to talk about on today's episode is how I didn't wear my natural hair for 10 years. And then when I did, I cut it off. For me, again, with the perms, when we were younger, our mom used to put perms in our hair. And in 4th grade, my hair got really damaged. And my hair was I remember the hairstylist said it was eating itself in a sense. It was just so damaged from the chemicals and stuff like that. And so I had to do a big chop in 4th grade. And so already that was such a big transition for me, being a little kid in fourth grade and like all of a sudden having this like tiny afro and stuff that I had to wear. And I just remember feeling so insecure and stuff. And my mom, she has these two pictures of me saved in her office of like when I first got my hair cut, and I was like, and then when I got home, I put my little headband on and I was smiling, and she was like, it just stands out to me so much because it's like you had a hard situation, you chose to embrace it at that time. And so I remember in middle school, like it was hard wearing my natural hair because it was like people would try to like slap their handprint in my hair. Like people would always be like, oh, your hair feels like a cloud. It feels like cotton candy. Like they were always trying to touch it. And like I remember being with one of my friends and like she would help me practice like ducking from people. Like if people were going to try to slap their handprint in my hair, like we would practice ducking together. And so I feel like it was sixth grade I stopped wearing my natural hair, whatever timeline that is for 10 years. And after that, like I just stopped wearing my natural hair because especially it's like when I got a phone too, and it's like I'm seeing all these other people's hair that it didn't look like mine. And so there was no representation of like what my curls look like. And so I think that I started feeling like I just didn't fit into like English beauty standards. And so especially going to high school where I went to a PWI, it's like I felt like I didn't fit into the beauty standards of what would be seen as beautiful. So it's like I always made sure to like in a sense hide my hair. Which I feel like it started to become like a character for me and stuff. And so even following to when I went to college, it kind of became this like character for me to be like the black girl with the big curly hair and stuff. I'd always have like a wig, and like for me when I did my hair, it always had to make sense. If I wore like hair that had color in it, the braids would then have color in it too. Like it always had to make sense because it was like this character that I had built for myself of like the black girl with the big curly hair. And so I remember my family would always encourage me to wear my natural hair, and I was like, no, not doing it. And for me, like it was a sense of like it does take a long time to do my hair, and it's like especially you do your hair and it doesn't come out right, like that right there is just traumatizing. And stuff. It is.
It's like, all this time
right.
you look like this,
and it's not gonna come out right. It's crazy. And it's like so a sense of like it was very hard to take care of, especially because I have a 4B 4C type hair, but at the same time like that was not really the main reason. And it's like I was just hiding underneath that, and it became something for me to hide in. And so I remember Natalie tried to talk to me like a year ago, and she was like, hey, like I kind of feel like part of the reason you're not wearing your natural hair is kind of spiritual as well. And she was like, I feel like you are battling something that like you don't really want to, you're not willing to address or talk about. And I was like, no, that's not it. I just don't have time for it and stuff. And I kind of just pushed that to the side, but it always stuck with me. And then again in November, my other sister Natasha, she was like, hey, like what's going on? Like, why don't you act like, why are you so against wearing your natural hair? And she was like, I feel like there's something spiritually going on with you that you're not willing to address. And she said, she was like, what if meeting your husband is linked to you finally wearing your natural hair? And I was like, well, you might be on something. And I just remember, my hair was just so unhealthy. Like, it was so unhealthy. And so it's like, when I did start my natural hair journey, it's like, it was so unhealthy. And it's like, I think my hair reflected the years of neglect that I showed it and stuff, which I think that goes to show with a lot of people's like relationships in life or like people's relationship with God is like it reflects the work, the effort you put into. And so I think for me, it's like I neglected my hair for so long, and then when I wore it natural, I just thought that it would just flourish because I decided to finally put some effort into it. But it's like I neglected it for years, and so I think wearing my natural hair, it kind of felt like this, like I had this glass around me. And like, I just remember I felt so vulnerable. And it felt like I had my biggest insecurity like on display for everybody to judge me. And so like, I just remember when I started wearing my hair natural, like I was on the verge of a breakdown like every 2 minutes because it was just so vulnerable for me. Like that was my biggest insecurity. And for it to be on display for everybody else, like it just felt so like, I just kept saying, this is so vulnerable for me. This is so vulnerable for me. And I just remember I was like, what am I holding on to? Like my hair isn't even healthy. And it's like a big part of that was because like I was not getting the nutrition that I needed in my body and stuff. And it's like, what am I even holding on to with my hair? Because like, and so I was just, I was like, I need to just cut it. And I cut it and I dyed it. And I was like, I'm rebranding myself. and I was like, this is gonna be a new me. And I just remember the day before, that's when I wrote the song "It's Already Prepared for You." And I just remember writing about how like it felt like I was just letting I cut it and I dyed it, and I was like, I'm rebranding myself. And I was like, this is gonna be a new me. And I just remember the day before, that's when I wrote the song "It's Already Prepared for You." And I just remember writing about how like it felt like I was just letting go of a lot of stuff. Like there was a lot of stuff attached to me not wearing my natural hair that I didn't even realize. And so it felt like old mindsets and all this stuff was being like detached, like as I was cutting my hair. And so I don't remember how I got into
No, I think what you said is very powerful, because I think in a way that is a testimony. And for some people, they might think, oh, well, it's hair. But it's like for a lot of women, our hair tells a story.
Yes.
And I think for a lot of Black women, they can resonate with the story that you shared. There's a lot of traumatic experiences from childhood, whether it's people making you feel different or less than because of your hair or curl pattern or whatever it may be. And so I think that hearing your story is very powerful and probably very encouraging to a lot of women, older and younger. But I think the thing that strikes me about your story and also my journey is these things took time. Like we're talking about like years.
Yes.
Like, you know, you're saying I didn't wear my natural hair for 10 years. I'm saying like I started my natural hair journey over 10 years ago now. It's like we're talking about decades.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to acknowledge, because somebody might be watching this and they're in year 2 of their journey, and no one's here to say like, well, you just need to fix your hair, you know, tomorrow, go get a big chop and everything will be changed. But I think there's a deeper conversation that's happening here about identity. Like,
yes.
This is not just about the curls on our head, but this is about how we believe, what we believe about ourselves based off of the curls that God has given us on our head. And as you were talking, it's like I was reminded of the story of the bleeding woman, how she had this issue that she dealt with for 12 years, and then she encounters the Lord and her life is completely changed. But instead of her just going back and hiding and doing what she was used to doing, the Lord called her in front of all the people, and he kind of gave her an identity transformation. You are my daughter. And I feel like what I see in your story is almost like the necessity of you cutting your hair, even the rebranding, because it's almost like this signal of like, I know you guys are used to me this way. I know you're used to me hiding behind my characters, but like I'm showing it all in this season because of what God has done in me. And it's like you were able to cut your hair because of the identity work that had happened. And so I just think that's very powerful.
Thank you. And I was going to say too, like me cutting my hair was not on my own strength at all. And I remember I had to invite God into the space of my natural hair, and God was so gentle with me. And I just remember I kept thanking God for being so gentle with me, because it wasn't just like a cut your hair now, do this now. Like God was so gentle to know that this was so incredibly vulnerable for me. And I just remember telling God, I was like, God, I hate my hair. I hate my hair. You gave me these curls and I hate it. And I just told, and I was like, something God's always shown me is that he can handle it, like what we have to say. And so I just remember like just being vulnerable with God and just telling him like, I hate my hair. And I just was like, fix it. Like, I don't know what to do. And I started praying over my hair. And I was like, God, I pray that like my hair, like it will coil from the root down to the end. Like it will be healthy. It will be strong. And it's like, I just remember like having to like invite God into that space, because it was something that like I couldn't do on my own. And so even when he started giving me thoughts of like wearing it natural or like putting like cutting it off, I just remember I was like, God, I do not have the strength to do this on my own. And I just kept thinking about the verse of joy, the Lord is your strength. And so I was like, God, like I need you to give me strength, because like I don't have the strength to do this on my own. And I just remember I kept telling God, I can't do this on my own. I cannot do this on my own. And I was like, I need you to help me do this, because this is so like, this is just so hard. It just felt so hard.
That's good. So then I have a question. What was like the final straw for you being like, okay, I'm gonna cut this?
So I started doing like hair videos. And I did this video, and I'm like crying in the video. It's like one drop comes out. It's so funny. But I'll insert the little clip of it, the one teardrop. And I was trying to like comb out my hair, and like I just remember this side was so short, and I was like, it was just dead. Like the hair was just. I was trying to do a wash and go. The hair was just dead. And I was like, what in the world? Like, my hair was so uneven, like, da-da-da-da. Like, the hairstyle came cute in the end, or it worked. But I just remember I went back to campus, and I had one of my roommates, like, touch my hair. I was like, it just, like, it won't curl. Like, something's wrong with it. And she was like, I think the hair is dead. And she was like, I think it's dead. And I was like, what? And I was like, that's probably why it's not growing. Like, it's just dead hair. And so I feel like after that night, I looked up, what actually did it was I saw a video from when I had this video I did in high school. During COVID, I did a video with my natural hair. I didn't wear it on public, but I did a video with my natural hair, and it blew up on TikTok. It blew up, and I just remember I saw how long my hair was in the video. And I was like, if that's my hair then, and this is my hair now, what the heck happened? And that night I was like, yeah, so this isn't gonna work. And so I was like, you know what, let's book an appointment and just get it cut off. So yeah. What was it like for you to like watch me go through my natural hair journey?
I think honestly it's very powerful. I think watching Nadia kind of go through the journey, like she said, with patience with the Lord. And I think everybody has opinions, right? So like I had ideas of how I wanted her hair. My mom had ideas. We had a whole Pinterest board. Like, okay, if you cut it like this and style it like this, and it's like Nadia took her time to figure out what she wanted and what worked for her. But I will never forget, because I think you cut your hair the night before I had a party, and you wore it for the first time at the party, and literally everybody in the room was just like, oh my goodness, Nadia, like this is your look, this is your style, like this is it, are you kidding me? And it was really beautiful to see like Nadia's act of choosing to love herself regardless of what people think was embraced by people also loving her. And it's not about people liking or loving what you do, but I do think there's something to be said when you own with confidence what God has given you, people will follow. Like people, I think they loved the confidence that exuded. The hair looked great, it still looks great, but I think what people saw was a confident Nadia. And I think that is true when people can tell when you truly are doing the work, when you're truly resting in a self-love that comes from something greater than yourself, that comes from God. And so I think watching this journey, because I know how vulnerable and painful it's been for you, and I resonate with what you've experienced, but my heart has also hurt by what you've experienced, to see you truly embrace has just been really, really special and very powerful to witness.
Thank you.
And something, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you before, but something I felt the Lord had told me a couple years ago was, can't remember exactly, but it was something to the effect of like, when you start wearing your natural hair in your fullness, like we will see like this different version of you arise. And I feel like I'm seeing that. Like you've been powerful for a while, but it's like there's an unlocked confidence and just a queen energy that's radiating.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I know that it was hard for you as well, being on your journey. What was that like for you, being in a college, PWI? What was that like for you?
Yeah, so PWI, in case somebody doesn't know, stands for Predominantly White Institution. I think for me, something that I always resisted and didn't appreciate was the way people tried to make you feel like you're something different, like you're an other. And I remember one time I was doing my hair and I had my Echo Styler gel, that green bottle of like goop. And one of my friends was like, what is that? She's like, it looks like a science experiment. Oh. And I don't know why I was thinking about this the other day, but it's like in my mind, okay, yes, the gel is in a jar, but like Echo Styler gel looks no different than like a Tresemme curling cream. And so I think for me, something that always bothered me was just this idea of like, that's different, you're different. But even now, it's so funny, like wearing my hair out like this, people think I'm trying to make a statement. Like people have been like, Black Power, like they think someone told me like, oh, I love you wearing your hair like this for Black History Month. And it's just, it was a black
This
person.
is not
that
just
said
for Black
it.
History Month.
But I think for me, it's just kind of it's very interesting to see how what people think you're trying to do versus you. Sometimes you're not trying to make a statement. Like, yes, for me, the hair, I'm a dramatic person. I'm always thinking about metaphors. So like, yes, this hair was a representation of like boldness, but sometimes it's really not that deep. You know, sometimes it's just like, I want to work out, and when I wear the silk presses, it kind of just gets messed up in one sitting. So I think I've had to kind of overcome, like, it doesn't matter what people think. You wear your hair however you want to wear it. If that's in some boho braids, wear your braids. If it's straight, wear it straight. If it's curly, wear it curly, and just love it for what it is.
Yeah, that's good. Something that we were talking about this episode earlier, she was like, have you felt like you've been approached by men differently based off the hairstyle you have? I was like, girl, girl. And I think that's interesting because it's interesting because for me, I change my hair all the time. And especially because I do hair, like I can just change my hair whenever I want. And I think for me, whenever I changed my hair, like I always would be like, oh, I have a different personality every time I change my hair. Like it's giving something different. And it is interesting because there very much is a different caliber when it's like different groups. And it's very different with short hair and stuff, which I feel like was so important that I need to get my validation from God and not men.
That's good.
Because short hair is a lot of things that men are like, oh, you bald headed, like stuff like that. And it's like, I feel like it was so important for me to know how to love my natural hair. And I feel like I was so tempted to be like, God, like, let a man validate my hair or something like that. But I knew I couldn't do that. I was like, I have to learn how to love it for myself. Because it's like, that is a thing. Like, a lot of guys are like, but I have noticed, like, guys that do approach me with this hairstyle, it's very much different than any other hairstyle I've worn. And, like, now it's like, you're very elegant, like you embody like a black woman, like a woman of God, like da-da-da-da-da, and it's very different, you know, when it's just like, you know. What about you?
Definitely. It's kind of funny. I feel like you just get a different reaction based on the hair. Like if I have my boho braids in, very much different reaction. I think with my hair like this, definitely, I don't know. People think, like, how much do I share?
You can share.
I think the natural hair just pulls out a different type of energy from people.
It does.
Like, straight hair, obviously, is different. So, yeah, it's funny.
That's funny, yeah.
I'm curious. So something that I want to address is today you said that your hair used to be your biggest insecurity, and now it's one of the things that you love most about yourself. I'm curious, what has you in this moment like this? Like, what kind of caused that shift?
I think, honestly, God, like, I could not imagine myself months ago being like, I love my natural hair. And it's like, even when I started my natural hair journey, I didn't still, well, how do you word that? I did not still like it. Oh, yeah. I did not still like it. And it's like, it was still very much well, I'm here. So, you know. But I think as I prayed and I asked God, help me to see my hair the way you see it. God, like, help me change my perspective. And I think that's what's the biggest thing is that I've learned is perspective changes everything. Because now when I look back at videos of high school, of like when I was doing my hair, I was like, what? Like, why did you not like your hair? Like, it was beautiful. And it's like, my perspective has now changed. And now it's like, for me, I think because like my hair is so healthy now, and seeing like in a state of it being so healthy has made me be like, I love the curls God gave me. Especially because it's like my hair, like it coils. It's not just a curl, like it coils. And it's like, I did a wash and go today, so it's not really as coily right now because it's still drying. But it's like when I'm like talking to people, I would just like spring my hair. Like I'll just spring my hair. Like I just love it. It's like I never could do that before. Like it wasn't healthy like that. And so I think now, because I know of like, not necessarily like trauma, but like the vulnerable, I don't know how to word it, like the burden that I felt from my hair, and to see myself like through God, like start to embrace what he gave me, and being able to see that what he put on my head is beautiful. I feel like now it's just like something that like I love about myself. So
that's good. Yeah, I love that.
What about you?
What do I love about my hair?
Like, where do you feel like you're at, like, with your hair? Like, are you still in, like, you know, I'm still learning to love it? No, like, I love it, or, you know?
That's a good question. And honestly, I'll share a vulnerable answer. I think something I have been noticing lately is that I'm in this place where I'm like, oh, I don't really recognize myself, like, when I look in the mirror, because I wore my hair in, like, my buns for so long, and I a majority of my life I've worn my hair straight. And I have had seasons where I've worn it curly, but in this season, I think I've wrestled with like, oh, who is she? Like, I'm not used to seeing her in the mirror. And so choosing to embrace this version, choosing to even, have an event on Sunday, and I've been thinking like, how am I going to wear my hair? Am I going to wear it out like this? Am I going to wear it up? Am I going to straighten it? And kind of giving myself permission to be like, this is how you're wearing your hair right now. So like, wear it like this. Like, this is the you that's showing up in this season. But it's taking some getting used to. So, yeah.
I love that. So what are you doing in this season to kind of navigate that?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing is just talking to God about it. Like, just being like, okay, Lord, like I'm sensing a shift that still makes me uncomfortable. Like, I'm sensing, I know we've talked about the boldness and the lion and all that stuff, but truthfully, sometimes I still want to be the lamb and go find the 99 and hide myself between them. And like you're saying, the gentleness of God, like being honest with the Lord about that. God, as much as I feel called to certain things and I want to be bold and brave and powerful, like I still get scared sometimes, and I still want to hide sometimes. And allowing two things to be true, like the feeling does not have to be like the fact. And
hold on. Because that was deep. Woo! Hold on. Wait. Because why did that just convict me?
But that's
the feeling
the thing,
does not have to
though.
be the fact.
It's like you can feel something and feel it. But that
crazy.
doesn't have to be the narrative that you choose. Okay, you feel fear. Now how are you going to walk?
Yes.
How are you going to proceed?
That's actually so interesting, because I feel like I've been in this like weird state, and even on my way praying on the way here, I was just like, God, I don't know why I've been feeling weird. And I was like, I don't feel like praying. And I was like, but I'm gonna praise you because like you're good. It doesn't matter how I feel. Like you are a good God, and my feelings don't change the fact of that and stuff. And even yesterday, I woke up at 6 a.m. and I was like, God, I don't feel like praying. And at 6:08 a.m., Dad sent a devotional literally called "What If I Don't Feel Like Praying?" And like the whole thing he wrote about like what to do when you don't feel like praying. And like I feel like so often we can get stuck in making our like faith in God based off how we feel. And I feel like I've been trying to like trying to break off of that a little bit, because I feel like yesterday when I was praying, I was like, I feel like God has called me to be an intercessor for people. And I didn't want to. And it felt like, and I was like, what do I do if I have an assignment that I don't want? And it's like, I think for me, well, one, it's my pride, but I think also like just that the weight of the assignment. And I was just like, I don't feel like it. And I'm like, God, how do I break this off of not feeling like doing what you've called me to do and stuff? And so I that hits when you say like, yeah, feelings is not fact and stuff, and not letting that kind of like dictate, my relationship with God or like stuff like that. So
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. But sorry, continue what you're saying.
Oh no, that's it. Like the feeling does not have to be the fact.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what would you say to the woman who is where you were, a couple of years ago, a couple months ago, that's still struggling with her identity as it relates to her hair?
I would say invite God into that space. That would be my number one piece of advice, because I truly don't think like I would not have had the strength to do it on my own. And so I think to invite God into that space, and like I was lucky enough to have a lot of support from my family, my friends, my church family and stuff like that. But it's like some people don't have that support, and it's like you need to have a solid foundation. And so I think number one, inviting God into that space. I would also encourage them to find what works for them. And I think for me, I kept trying to watch all these videos, seeing what worked for other people, and when it turned out the same for me, I would get really frustrated. But it took the process of me like learning my hair. Like in order to love my hair, I had to learn my hair as well, and learning what it liked. And so I think learning products that worked for my hair, and also, being willing to invest in that. Because it's like I was willing to invest in the wigs, I was willing to invest in the clip-ins and the extensions and all that stuff. It's like now when it's natural hair, I'm like, oh, it's so expensive. But it's like me being willing to kind of shift my perspective and be like, this is an investment into my hair. It kind of changed that. And also I would give one more piece of advice, which would be exposure therapy, which is just kind of exposing yourself to like hard things and doing them despite kind of like how you feel. And so I think just exposing yourself and like maybe it's in a smaller setting, like maybe it's not like right at school yet, but it's like, you know, family function or something like that, and then kind of slowly transitioning yourself. That would be my advice. What about you?
I love that, the exposure therapy. I think too, kind of like diversifying the images of beauty that you see. So I know for me in college, like Nadi said, went to a predominantly white school. But I remember creating this collage of like black women that I would keep by my mirror, not at school, but I had it at home. And it had, you know, beautiful dark-skinned women, beautiful women of different shades, short hair, long hair. And for me, there was something about the visual representation of seeing these women and reminding myself, like, hey, this is beauty. Like, you know, it doesn't matter what you're seeing every day. Like, God made beauty in all forms. White people are beautiful, black people are beautiful, Asian people are beautiful, etc., etc. But there's something about that self-affirmation of like, and my black is beautiful. And, you know, I do think we see more diversity in TV and media today, but still not as much as we should. And so sometimes you have to be in control of like creating what you see represented on your screen, on your mirror, etc.
Yeah. And I think representation is so important. And I think for me, especially when I was cutting my hair, like it was so important for me to find people who had my same hair texture, who had short hair and stuff. And I would look up like people with super short forehair, beautiful and stuff like that. And it was important for me to see it in like dressed up and different things. Like I needed to see it not in a state of like casual, but like this hair can also be dressed up as well. Like this hair is also professional. This hair is also, you know, and it's like it was important for me to see that so that I wasn't getting this like fake idea of what my hair would look like short, or like thinking that it'd be like the loose curls and stuff when I cut it, and it's like no, they're gonna be tight when you cut it and stuff like that. And so I do agree about that being, you know, thing. Okay. Well, that is all the time that we have for today, but thank you so much for joining me.
That last part so it doesn't look like you were looking.
Okay, fine. Well, that is all the time that we have for today, and I just want to thank you for coming on and doing this episode with me. I am planning to do more episodes just about hair and God, and so thank you for watching this video. Thank you, Natalie, for being on it.
Thanks
and
for having me.
Yeah, let me know the type of videos you guys want to see, what you want to see me talk about. But
and I just want to say really quick, I'm so proud of you for the journey you've been on, but also the journey you're inviting other people on.
Thank you.
I just pray the Lord blesses this space and send the partnerships, okay?
Hey!